So yeah, we talked back in January. I think it was January.
Yeah.
And I asked you about Deadpool, and you were like, "Oh yeah, I hope I'm involved." And here we are. Here we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, ah, I called it. I called it.
What did you call? What did you say?
Well, just that I was like, yeah, I had a suspicion. I was like, your character would be a good one to bring back for Deadpool in this, in the scenario that they were playing with. And I was like, well, that's a perfect pick right there.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. You sniffed it out, man. I was under NDA constraints. What could I do?
Those pesky NDAs.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, on getting to do that and coming back as Pyro.
Thank you.
What was it like maintaining that ruse?
Well, look, it wasn't not everyone's as savvy as you are, so I didn't have to like, fend off too many inquiries. So it wasn't terrible. It is weird to see the way that whole thing has evolved it's very bizarre. It's a really recent advent, and I've been doing this for a long time, and it was never like that. And now, like, even just auditions, like anything I audition for, there's like just an automatic NDA. You just can't talk about anything. So at this point, I'm just used to it. It's just par for the course.
Were you surprised with how much that they were able to give Pyro to do in this film?
I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
The very first phone call I had with Sean, he said there's a lot of, we've got a lot of Easter eggs in this movie. A lot of just quick, fast appearances, and a little bit of Halloween candy for the fans. He said, but he's like, for Pyro, like, you've got an arc, like, it's like
Yeah.
you're in the movie, man. And honestly, like, I reserved my excitement, because you just never know how these things are going to shake out. But then finally, I saw the script, and we went to shoot it, and they even added a scene at the end. I don't know if I can talk about the scene yet. I
Oh
think we're
yeah.
still in spoiler territory, but
I meant to say that, yeah, we can talk full spoilers. I've seen the movie and we're gonna be
okay.
holding, the spoiler responses, so you don't have to worry about that at all. So full
Oh, okay,
details.
good. Yeah, so yeah, in addition to the already like really fun thing that they had conceived, they added that scene with Pyro and Cassandra Nova at the end. So it was really great to get like a little bit of one-on-one FaceTime with Emma Corrin, as I'm a huge fan of The Crown. So yeah, I mean, it was just I feel very lucky and very grateful.
Now, I have a specific question for you. Do we think that this is the same exact Pyro that fans knew from, like, X2, X3, or is this a slightly different variant and similar enough
Well,
that
he's been, a lot of time has passed, and he's been through a lot. So you see that in the character. They don't. It's not meant to be a situation where he was ripped straight from Professor X's academy, and like, time traveled. This is a Pyro who has somehow been banished to this, like, Mad Max wasteland, and he's in this hellish limbo for who knows how long. But you can see just by his physical appearance, that he's been through the ringer.
yeah.
So it is the established Pyro, but he's been through a lot since we've last seen him.
And you get a badass introduction, where you get to take away Johnny Storm's abilities, played by
Yeah,
Chris Evans. What was it like filming those scenes with Evans on set alongside Hugh and Ryan?
it was great, man. I think that's one of the best little, you know, uh, reversal little hidden moments in the script, when the Johnny Storm little reveal. So it was fun to get to be a part of that. And that was my very first. I shot that scene. That was my very first day of work.
Mhm.
So yeah, I showed up to work, and had read in the script, you know, where I was meant to be, um, and didn't know what to expect when I showed up. But you know, they drove us up to the site and to the set, and like we were there. You know, it wasn't like a green screen, you know, studio situation. Like, no, they pulled us up to this like desert wasteland that they had constructed, and there was a gigantic crumbling like 20th century fox sign buried in the sand, this towering over everybody, and there were like downed jetliners, and you know, like a beached yacht, you know, like like all it was all physical practical effects. So it's you know, it's really fun to be able to perform in a setting like that where like you can just get swept away in the moment, because I mean, like it feels like you're there, you know.
Mhm. Well, like was because sometimes with these movies and when you have like big cameos and sometimes not all the actors are there. Right? They like to fib it
Yeah,
sometimes. Was
it
everyone
does
there at
happen.
the
Yeah.
same time? Like, did you have Chris Evans and Hugh and Ryan all on set with you to do all the scenes?
Yes, we did. But that scene in particular, that scene was split. So my very first day of work was that scene with Chris Evans, and right on my first day of shooting, that's when the Screen Actors Guild announced the strike, that when they confirmed that the strike was going to happen. So we all came into work. They made a big announcement. They were like, all right, we've all been expecting this and now it's happening. So we're finishing the day and then everyone's leaving until this is resolved. So we shot the first part of that scene, and Chris was there, and they made damn sure to get all of his coverage, because they knew it was how hard it was going to be to get him back. He's a busy guy.
Yeah.
So they shot all of his stuff that day, and then when the rest of us came back after the strike was resolved, we shot all the rest of that stuff that we didn't really need him for, and the reverse coverage and all that stuff.
Now, obviously, so much about this experience probably felt surreal. But if you could pick one moment you experienced while, working on the movie that was just the most insane to you, what would it be? This could be on, offset.
Yeah, I don't know. As you said, the whole thing is
Yeah.
the whole thing still has me in shock. Sort of, yeah, it was an unexpected development. Um, Yeah, I don't know, man. You know, like just seeing like walking up to Hugh on set for the first time in 20 years. I haven't seen him since the old X-Men movies,
Yeah.
you know. And when you work on these films, you know, people the old X-Men movies, they took like both of them were like 6 month shoots or something like that, you know. So you get very close to people, and you develop these relationships, and they sort of become like family, and then everyone just they move on to the next job, and it happens all over again. It's a really weird gypsy lifestyle. So yeah, to get to be able to just walk up and say hello and give a hug to this, you know, to an old friend of mine from 20 years ago, and just, you know, see like, oh, you and I have both traversed this time together. It's nice to see
Yeah.
you again.
Just before the third act hits, there's a big final showdown with everyone at the HQ, but Pyro skips out on all the fighting. Did
Uh-huh.
you ever participate in that big battle, or was it pretty much always like you
No,
got
I think the point of that is the reveal where he you know, ends up taking the pot shots
yeah.
at Cassandra. So he I think that's the idea, is you don't see him in the battle because like he's in the, you know, setting up this assassination plot.
Clearly your character wasn't very happy with his time with Cassandra. Did you personally explore, just for yourself, what some of that off-screen story was between your two characters and what he went through specifically in the Void under her rule?
Yeah, you know, I think it's like a penal colony, you know, and they, you know, they all get shipped off to this place, and they're imprisoned there, and you know, she's like I don't know, a cross between a warden and like the toughest guy on the cell block who everyone just has to like do do what they say. So yeah, I think there's definitely like there's not a lot of warmth there. I think there's a lot of resentment, and he's had to live under her thumb for a very long time, and then he finally gets an opportunity to get the shank in there while she's while she's distracted, and he does.
But yeah, Pyro made a deal with Paradox as well. Can you kind of explain what exactly was Pyro hoping from that deal, and how did he want everything to work out?
Well, he's they say in the movie he's hoping to get released from the void, and I the way I thought of it was I think it's something similar to the Matrix, where the character uh, played by Joey Pentagliano, I think you pronounce his name, and he makes a deal that he'll kill all of his friends if he can be relocated to a dream, his dream version of the Matrix. So my idea was that Pyro struck some kind of similar bargain with Paradox, saying like, all right, well, I'll do this for you, but you have to ship me off to another multiverse, where I can live the way I want to live and be who I want to be.
And how did because it's as we've said, it's been a long time since your work on the Fox films and the old X-Men movies. How did the set life and culture of like Deadpool and Wolverine compare to what it was last time you were on one of these films?
Yeah, it was very different. I think just things have evolved, and changed. So it was sort of very Deadpool felt very efficient. Like the people just they very much uh, knew what they were doing, and it was kind of a well-oiled machine, and very professional. And you just came in and you did your thing. Whereas with the old X-Men movies, it didn't really feel like that. As I said, it felt a bit more like a family.
Mhm. Now, Cassandra's HQ takes place in a hollowed out corpse of Ant-Man. Did you or what did that set look like? How much of it was practical versus VFX? Because you said that they had the whole desert and all that, but how much of
Yeah,
that like that
yeah, they build out a lot of it. Now, obviously, you'll see in the movie that the scale is so enormous that like
yeah.
no nobody could build that out. But it's very they create a lot of it. So when we were in the Ant-Man, little I don't know what you call it, death arena. Yeah, they built all we had all those physical walls all around us, all the details, all the junked like Humvees and you know weaponry and bits and bobs, and all of the sort of background like baddies and villains, and that whole, it was all built up, everything was there. And then when they pulled back to a much larger shot, obviously it's enormous. And I think they have the detail shot of like Ant-Man's helmet raising up from the
Yeah.
skull, and obviously that's a bit of CGI. So it's a mix. But what's good about it is it's not, I think there was a time when people were just leaning way too hard on CGI, and movies lacked the weight,
Hmm.
the texture, that tangible feeling. It just started to not be there. And I think people learn from that. And as a result, you'll see more and more in these movies, in the Star Wars universe, you can really see it too, that they figured out like, no, we have, like, it's got to be a mix. You have to have enough practical in there that it feels real. And then use the CGI where you need to for the really big stuff that just can't be achieved practically.
Cassandra has a habit of fingering people's brains in this movie. And I was just curious watching it. And again, what is the practicality of filming a scene like that? Like, what is she actually doing to you? And how do you react to that? And
I didn't, there wasn't a ton of that with me. I know what you're talking about. That she gets really, really deep into it with Paradox. It's very unsettling to watch. I didn't see them shoot that. With me, I only had that one quick scene where
she does it to you like right at the end, like your
she's like
problem.
puppet mastering, the back of my head, and snaps my neck and throws me away like a wad of garbage. But I didn't.
Or Pyro.
We yeah, no, we didn't. I don't think I even when we shot that, I didn't even realize that that was what it was meant to be. Was her fingers in my head? I thought she was just like gripping my skull or something. Because I didn't. I somehow like missed that detail in the script. So I don't know what they did when they got really sensual with it.
They were. She was very, very sensual. She was
I
passionate.
think you just have to in that situation. I think you just have to use your imagination. I don't know. I watched it. It didn't. Maybe they had some sort of mask at some point, where they,
Yeah.
wanted to, but like it looked probably like CGI.
So my last question for you. One day the MCU will likely recast Pyro. So what's your advice to the person who may inevitably take over that role?
No advice, just make it your own. That's it. It's whatever actor takes it, they're gonna put their stamp on it, and more power to them. That's gonna be up to them.
Well, thank you for talking with me today about the movie. And again, congratulations. It's going to be a hit. I think people are going to love it. And they're going to be like, wait, why did you guys kill Pyro off?
Yeah, well, it's multiverse. Don't forget.
That's true. You always have an in now.
Death means nothing in the
Yeah.
multiverse. There's very low stakes if you get killed. So.